Welcome to the Third Chair, a show about real people, real stories, real life. And here are your hosts for the Third Chair, Peter Grigg and Doug Bazeski.
So, Doug, tonight here we have another woman who's an entrepreneur.
That's great.
And she keeps telling me the term nerdy-gurdy. I don't even know what that is. I guess we'll find out.
That's a nerd that grinds it out.
Oh, yeah, I think
I don't
so.
know.
Yeah, she's very talented. She's also a writer, has finished or is working on a book, and as just a really positive person, probably one of the most positive people I think we've met.
That's true.
And so it is our pleasure to welcome tonight to the show Ari Spearman, who has her own business, works at Prime America, and is a single mom and a writer. Please welcome Ari. Welcome to the Third Chair. I'm Peter, that's Doug, and we have Ari Spearman here with us. Thank you for braving the horrible traffic tonight. I had a hard time getting here to the studio as well, but thanks for being here.
Oh, it's such an honor.
Thank you so much. And as we mentioned on the intro, you are a successful businesswoman with Prime America, and a writer and an author, and you have many other great stories we're going to find out tonight. But if we could, let's talk a little bit about your days when you went off to college and that period of time and some of the challenges you had at that time in your life.
Absolutely. So, starting into college, it was a great experience. You know, I graduated at the top of my class, number 7 in my class. And it was exciting. I got a volleyball scholarship to go to Barry University. At the time...
And Barry is in...
Miami Shores, Florida.
Nice.
And at the time, I was hiding a secret from my family. I had recently found out that I was pregnant. So I was afraid to let my mom down, building up to go to college. You know, she was super excited, getting my high school diploma, something she never was able to accomplish. And so for me, it was exciting, but it was also bittersweet, right? So she sent me off to Miami Shores. It was super, super fun, getting a sports management degree with a partial volleyball scholarship. But ultimately having that secret, it was a battle. I wasn't really able to focus on my sports management degree.
I can't even imagine how hard that would have been.
Oh my goodness. So, but it was a lesson, right? So when I was finally able to come to my senses and say, you know what, I'm an adult. I'm 18 years old. I'm coming and finding myself. I need to tell my mom, right? So I let my mom know, and I sent her a text. Which is probably not the right thing to do when you want to let your family know that you're expecting. Right? She's a little seasoned in the game, right? And I didn't get a response back. Not right away. Well, full 24 hours actually. So that was Sunday night that I sent her that message, and I had gotten, just a feeling that we get sometimes, like, you know what, I need to take care of this. So Monday morning I got up like a normal day. And, it's a large campus, Barry University. And so I walked to my first class. And I get there, and they're taking attendance. And she's like, Ariel, you're not on my attendance list.
Wow. And
with my pregnant hormones, I'm like, there's a mistake. There's got to be a mistake. Yeah. I'm on that list. I don't have a break, So I'm staying in this class, right? I'm sitting here until it's over, and I'll handle it later. So I had 2 classes before I had an open period where I could walk over to human resources and figure out what the heck was really going on. Second class, I was not on the attendance list either. So I already knew kind of something was up, right? So I go to HR and they tell me, you've been withdrawn. You were withdrawn this morning. And instantly I'm like, oh crap, okay, withdrawn. I know what that means. You know what? It's a big word, but we
Yeah.
we know what that means, right? And I instantly get a message on my phone, and it says, "You better be on that flight." Now it's a Monday morning. I'm like, "What flight?" Okay.
I'm guessing that message was from.
Oh, Mom Dukes. Mom Dukes. You
Mom,
already know.
yeah,
Yep, Mom
yeah.
Dukes. It was
Mom
definitely
was
Mom.
tough.
Oh yes, one tough cookie. So, immediately I'm thinking like, holy crap! Like I got to be on that flight. If I'm not on my flight, if Mom got to come down here and get me, it's gonna be even worse, right? I got to be on that flight.
Oh, yeah.
So, I did what I had to do, and at the time, the laws for the airlines had changed. So your bags could only weigh 50 pounds, right? So I'm this broke college student trying to figure out how I'm going to get all my stuff to weigh 50 pounds, right? So I've got my little in-home scale that I've got my bag on, and I'm shoving stuff in and taking stuff out and putting stuff in and going through that battle with myself, knowing that I had to be on that flight by Friday, right?
Oh my goodness.
It was nerve-wracking, but I knew, like, I can't let my mom down again, right? So long story short, I make the flight. I was able to get my bag under the 50 pounds, left a lot of stuff back in Miami, but when I got back, my family, nobody was really talking to me.
You were getting
the
cold
I
shoulder.
got the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
You know,
Sort of ghosted to your face.
Oh, it was, and it's the worst, isn't
They
it?
let
You
you
know,
back
like
not
the
to
silent
talk to you.
treatment.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
And imagine the silent treatment from 4 individuals, because I make the 5th one, but 4 individuals you get the silent treatment from, you know, from being gone for 2 months in college, and you come back and you're like this ghost. And so maybe about the end of the week, I started feeling ill. And I don't know if it was because of all of the stress and the traumas from having, from flying back and forth and figuring all this stuff out. But I couldn't really go to my mom because she wasn't talking to me. She knew that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
But she was so disappointed, and I was still intimidated and naive to even face her, So I reached out to my aunt. My mom raised her brother and her sister in Colorado. And so I reached out to her. She has 8 children. So I'm like, she's got to know a little something, somebody, somebody, maybe somebody that I can talk to, right?
Yeah.
At least from experience, so I called her up, and she's like, absolutely, I have a doctor. So we went to the Penrose Hospital in Woodman. It was newly being built, to meet a doctor, her doctor, Dr. Stark. And when we got there, I did my checkup. I thought everything was cool. We had a nice, fun day planned. And immediately, like, they're telling me, like, you have to lay down. I need you to lay down. Like, this is serious. Like, and I'm like, these people are tripping. This is my first baby. I feel fine. I'm just a little hungry. Like, I had no idea what's going on. And so they pulled my aunt out to explain to her that I had high blood pressure.
Yeah, so
I was basically about to go into shock.
Yeah, is
hypertension. Yep.
Yeah, and of pregnancy, very, very serious.
Yes,
kills people.
But at 18, you don't know, right?
No,
you're just naive. So I'm like, these people are tripping. It's a new hospital. They don't know what they're talking about, right? I'm not an old champ, I've got an old soul, but I ain't got no high blood pressure. They're tripping, So I didn't really understand, the level of seriousness that I was facing at the time. But they kept telling my aunt, don't stress her out, don't stress her out. So what we did, we called my mom, and we're like,
that probably didn't help your stress level.
Well, I'm thinking like, okay, well, I mean, there's nothing I can do, right? They're saying that the baby's coming. You got to finally talk. You got to talk to me eventually, So we give her a call, and she says, well, I have to work till 4. And it's 9:00 in the morning. And so I'm like, great. And she hangs up the phone. So I'm like, well, guess we got to wait till 4. And everybody looks at me like, girl, you're about to have this baby. Like, if you don't have this baby today, you're going to die.
And what they didn't tell you by you're going to have this baby today is like, you're going to have a C-section.
I'm going to have a C-section. We're
we're
cutting
the baby out.
We're cutting you open. We're taking him out.
Which is the definitive treatment for preeclampsia.
Right.
When women are preeclampsia, you give them a little medicine to stabilize them, but The treatment is deliver the baby.
Yes, the treatment is save the baby. Save the baby.
But the baby was young.
The baby was 29 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
The baby was 11 weeks. So, I'm a nerdy gritty. I grew up. I kind of know some stuff. So I know that my baby's not developed. I know he's not ready, so they tell me, like, you're having this baby, and I'm like, no, I'm not. He's not done cooking. Like, he's still got to cook. Like, he's not done cooking yet, he's got some more time. Y'all need to chill. I just need a burger or something, and I'll be good, but I didn't understand the seriousness of what was about to happen in the next coming days, right? So
they give you steroids.
They gave me steroids for 48 hours
to mature the baby's lungs.
Yep, to help him be able to breathe and stabilize his lungs on his own, which helped. But I was only able to eat ice chips at the time, so he started losing weight. So on that third day, which was a Wednesday, they came in the morning and they're like, "Hey, today's the day. We're taking him out. He's losing weight. We got to save yours and his life." And that's what it was. I didn't have any questions I could ask. It was like, hey, it's time.
So this very serious time we're going to find out more about when we come right back.
Sounds good.
Quantum Leap Recovery is the podcast of Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. The podcast is researched, narrated, and facilitated by me, Dr. Peter Gregg, a licensed physician in long-term recovery and recovery coach. I will interview guests, but also bring to your attention the latest medical findings and advances. I want to connect with others and get input from the listeners. Insights and topic requests will be shared and acted upon. So why the name Quantum Leap Recovery? What's a quantum leap? Well, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines it as an abrupt change, sudden increase, or dramatic advance. For example, the experimental medication proved to be a quantum leap forward in treating cancer. Recovery can occur as regular baby steps and/or at times by quantum leaps. We are going to talk about the many roads, pathways, and timetables to recovery. A personal quantum leap sometimes occurs when we find an unfamiliar approach to our problem. So, join us on our podcast and support us on Red Circle. Welcome back to the Third Chair. I'm Peter. That is Doug, and we are here with Ari Spearman. Ari, thank you for being here.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, you just been sharing this incredible story. You're 18. You're at college. You find out you're pregnant. Your mom unenrolls you and sends a plane ticket to come home. You get home. You're ill, you have preeclampsia, you need a C-section in a day or so, and your family's not exactly speaking with you. Man, I can't believe that. That is so hard. And then on top of it, the day of your surgery, more bad things happened. Is that right?
Absolutely. So, it's time to deliver Saran, to meet my little miracle baby, right? And, of course, mom is there. She's not happy, but she's there, shooters in tow. But once he's born, they pull him out of me. He's 2 pounds, 7 ounces, 15 inches long. And he's got little air bubbles. We find out later he's got little air bubbles in his intestine. So being that we were in a new hospital at the time, they didn't understand the protocol. They didn't understand that he wasn't fully developed, They knew that he could breathe on his own. They knew that he was cute. They knew he was cuddly, so they decided to feed him right away.
Oh, no.
So, for me being in recovery, I wasn't even able to meet Saran until later that evening. So he came at 1:00 in the afternoon, and I finally got to physically meet him and hold him at 9:00 that night. But they had already fed him, formula. So, with new babies, they kind of took away the opportunity for me to breastfeed my new baby. But they also they also tore up his intestines. At the time I didn't know. But because of that formula that they gave him at that hospital, 5 days later, they called me and they told me that they had to immediately transport my son to the Colorado Children's Hospital in Boulder. And I'm thinking Boulder, Colorado. Right? Oh my God, Boulder, Colorado! I can't take my baby to Boulder. And they're like, no.
On Boulder.
In
Colorado
Children's
Springs,
Hospital in Colorado Springs.
Gotcha,
We've got surgeons, we've got the specialists that we need there. So we're gonna flight for life him to the Colorado.
So he got his first helicopter.
So he got his first helicopter flight, right? And from there he had blood in his stools, and they couldn't figure out why. So for months, this baby who was supposed to be born on Christmas, he comes in October and spending every single day inside of this clear plastic box. And granted, it's probably warm on the inside, but it's not as warm as mom, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I refused to leave. We spent our first 2 months of his life in the hospital. I slept on a reclining chair. And I got really comfortable with the Ronald McDonald House and everything that they had to offer, and showers and taxi vouchers and things like that, so that I could stay close to my baby.
Oh my goodness. And I can't imagine the pain of that. Looking back, do you see how you endured those times? I mean, was there... If someone was to ask, if I'm 18 and I have a premature delivery and a child that needs emergency surgery, how did you cope with that?
At the time, I didn't. It wasn't something that was on your conscience. It just was on the subconscious. You just did it. You just do it, because when you when you become a parent and you bring life into a living being, it gives you that value. It does something to your heart, I think we have to understand that love drives us more than fear or anything else, right? So that love that I had from that innocent child that I created, even though it was a secret, even though, it hurt some people in the process, that love that I had for that baby, I would do anything for him. I would lay my life on the line for him, and a lot of times during that process, people would tell me, like, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. 70% or 30% or 40% of children at this age make it. He's not going to, and it was like they were asking me to give up, right?
Yeah.
But something was telling me I had to fight. This isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. It's to show you how much of a soldier you are. It's to show you how big of a heart you have. It's to show you, so I would tell that 18-year-old woman, it's not to break you down. It's to bring you through. There's something that you're going through or you're hesitating with that you needed this experience for. So you have to fight through it. Put that armor on, because that child that you created is going to need that soldier, that unity.
There were some tough things that happened with your grandmother too, was there not?
Absolutely. So with Saran's experience, they couldn't figure out what was going on. So they came to me one day and they said, you know what, Ariel, we want to cut your 2-pound baby open, and we want to just see if we can figure out what's going on. Now, like I said before, my mom raised my aunt and my uncle because their mother had alcoholism problems, and it does still kind of trickle in our family a bit. But my grandmother, because she was drinking so much, we believe that she was trying to detox off of the alcohol. So the day, November 15th, that they wanted to just open up Saran to see what was going on, they had found my grandmother in her apartment, passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And at the same moment, they had just opened up Saran just in time for his intestine to perforate. So there was the poop and everything around in his belly, but because they had just opened him and it just happened, they were able to save his life.
Yeah. The technical name, he had necrotizing enterocolitis, which is very, very bad for a premature baby.
Absolutely.
Very bad.
Absolutely, and it's
Yeah.
very rare.
It's kind of-
so I've been told.
In some ways, it was this whole experience was a miracle that he made it through this far.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, you did your part too, but you can't help think, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah, but at the time, Peter, I felt like, gosh, this is my fault. I have to fix this problem that I caused, because if I would have been honest at the beginning, maybe I could have got the proper treatment. Maybe I could have got the care that I needed. Maybe they could have told me, what I was supposed to do and not do. Like, obviously, you're not supposed to scuba dive pregnant, but,
Did you scuba dive pregnant?
just a little bit, I got a sports management major, so I wanted to make sure.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get eaten by a shark either.
I wanted to make sure that I was setting myself up for success, right?
Yeah.
So some of those things, I felt like I had to fix this problem that I created, even though later on down the line, like months ago, I found out that it wasn't a problem that I created. It was ultimately a lack of education, on the hospital's part and the formula company and things like that. So we are right now going through the process of a lawsuit for that.
Oh, wow. Okay. And boy, that's all very, very intense. And I was just going to say, too, I think it's worthwhile, when you're young and you look back, that you don't beat yourself up because you're 18 and there are things you don't know, especially when maybe your family's not as supportive as it can,
Right.
Yeah, I would hate to think that you beat yourself up over, those times.
Oh, I used to really bad. It wasn't until I, started reading self-help books and learning, different things from those, like understanding how to control those feelings, because like we talked about a little bit before, women, we really are controlled by emotion. We don't really know, we feel a certain type of way and we feel like things are happening to us. We don't really understand in the moment, because we have to take ourselves out of that moment so that we can get the lesson out of that experience.
Well, and certainly as time goes by, we get new perspectives on what's happened, and that's important, because I think when we don't get those lessons and have peace, then it's easy to have fears and resentments and things that eat us alive.
Yes, and it's hard to overcome adversity if you're consumed with all of these different traumas and things that you've never been able to really reflect or face, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So on that powerful thought, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back. Hi, it's Peter from the set of The Third Chair. I just want to put in a good word for my good friend and owner of 9 Round Kickboxing in Colorado Springs, Melissa Lance. Her studios provide a phenomenal workout in 30 minutes. I know I've benefited from it over the last 2 years. I've lost over 30 pounds and really appreciate the encouragement, the excitement, the expertise of the trainers. It's a great workout. I encourage you to check it out. That's 9 Round Kickboxing in Colorado Springs.
Welcome back to the Third Chair, where we're here with our guest Ari, and we're going to talk about your son for a while.
All right.
So how old is he now after going through a very, very, very difficult birth?
He's about 13 going on 30.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
13 going on 30. My size. So he did start out as an itty bitty champ, but he's about 5'5" now, 110 pounds. All-star athlete, straight A student, which is, a blessing in disguise. He does have a little bit of short bowel syndrome, and asthma, because he didn't really get a chance to work out his lungs and all that good stuff when he was born. But ultimately, such a good kid. Such a good kid.
And what sport is he an all-star in?
He's a basketball player.
Basketball.
Yeah, he's a basketballer, yep. Mm-hmm.
And so basketball players, they run all the time.
All the time.
So he has to fight his asthma?
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of funny. He has medical-induced asthma. So basically, if he catches a cold or has allergies or something like that, it'll usually flare up his asthma. But he's 7th grade, and he plays against 9th graders on a club team for basketball. We're usually at a tournament, a couple tournaments every weekend. And he does really well going up and down the court.
So you're a basketball mom watching them.
Oh, yeah. That's why I don't have a voice today. I don't
You're
usually
yelling.
sound like this. I'm the psycho mom on the sidelines, hooting and hollering with the camera and the stat sheet. Yeah, that's
Did the refs hate you?
Oh, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You kind of get in where you fit in. So I figured out a way to kind of finagle in there. So they already know what to expect. So Saran's mom, she's the one.
Yeah.
He's 13. It's teenage years. Now it's going to get interesting. In a couple of years, he'll see some young lady and say, Mom.
Ooh, I hope that, as a mom, I'm instilling the right values and beliefs in him so that I don't have to be such a stickler when it comes to the girls. But he's already at the point where it's like, you know what, you got to make sure you're making the grades if you're not an athlete. I don't know if I could really, hang out with you too much. So he's got some good standards in there. Right now, I'm just kind of like praying to all the gods and the mom gods that they kind of stick around.
Yeah.
Right? That's my little guy. So, as long as he's happy, that's the ultimate goal. Right.
Yeah, because we had our daughter, she had standards, and to tell like she took to him, so it's kind of like, yeah, I can trust you.
Yeah. And as long as you have standards, right? I mean, people gotta respect you for having some kind of standards, So it, like I tell him, it's okay to let him know, like, okay, well, you don't have to wear all that makeup. You're beautiful anyway. Make sure that you share that love, you have that confidence, and hopefully the right ones will come around.
It's so good to know that I don't have to wear makeup because I'm beautiful.
But you won't. As a mom, you always gotta make sure you got the shotgun in the back just in case, kind of scare them. Make sure they know, like, I mean business. That kind of deal. The poker face.
Yeah, the poker face.
The poker face. Absolutely.
Do you have a look?
Oh yeah.
The look.
The
yeah,
look.
the look.
Does it scare your son?
All the time. You always need a look. That way, like if you're in public, all you got to do is make the look. You don't have to make any noise. Nobody knows what's really going on. It's just that bond. And it's that fear. You kind of want to give them the butterflies in their belly so that they know, like, oh shit, I gotta tighten up. I need to tighten up. Yeah.
I need to tighten up.
Tighten it up.
My daughter specialized in the look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think us women got that look down. I mean, or a undercover pinch, or something inconspicuous to know, like I see you.
Yeah.
I see
But it's not just the tough look. I mean, I have 3 daughters, and they give me the look, and I just like melt.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, Daddy, will you buy me a horse? Sure, why not? Yeah, car, Barbie laptop, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the opposite with the boys, though. You kind of, they can kind of sense. It's like, okay, what's going on with you? What's wrong? You good? Is everything okay? Is there, so as a mom, you've got to, it's like, okay, look, this look is for you. This look is for you to straighten up, So you kind of have to, it's more of like that strong Wonder Mom type.
Do you ever practice the look in the mirror?
Oh, all the time. All the time. All the time.
Do you also practice okay, look on, look off, kind of like the torch and Fantastic Four?
Oh yeah, because you have to be prepared, for that moment, right? Where they're they got in trouble at school or something didn't go right, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm the jokester. We have this good relationship, but this is the look when he tells me like I got a bad grade in school. Like, you know, you have to work it out, because if you don't tell your face, you know, you're not really getting the point across, right?
Right.
So you have to tell your face. Your face and your tone have to match.
Does he ever say, "Mom, can we talk about this?"
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Usually if it's something that he wants to talk about, I already know. Like, okay, well, let me get my cards. Let me get my deck out already, because I think he's trying to play me. You know? Mom, let's talk about
no
this.
teenager tried to
Right?
their
They have to try to finagle a little bit, you know, get a little leeway. It's like, well, I have a C, but I've turned in all my assignments, and it's just the teacher hasn't graded any of my assignments. So do I need to email the teacher? No. You don't need to email her. You know, it's that type of deal. You don't need to email her, but.
I have grown daughters, and I still think they constantly work me. Still, you know,
That's
I'm
their
61. Job. Yeah, Dad, will you get me a Red Bull? Dad, will you get me a Monster?
Oh, yeah.
Dad, will you get me this? Dad, will you get me that? Dad, will you watch my grandchild for a year?
That's their job, though. They gotta test your boundaries, and they gotta make sure, like, are you standing firm, or are you waving in the wind? Are you willy nilly? Can I push you out? You know.
Well, Peter, what you should have said.
Yeah, I'm getting it now.
See? You gotta tighten up.
For flail.
You're gonna have to wake up in the morning and practice those looks in the mirror.
You know,
the bad thing is his wife can have the look too.
Oh, I'm totally surrounded. It's just not fair.
She's the one that gave him the L.
Yeah. and all three of my daughters are all dark hair, darker skin, beautiful brown eyes. I mean, like Italian beauty, and it's like, you know, I just like give up here, take my wallet.
You said, I'm gonna just put my heart on the counter.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Leave it on the ice.
You know, and then they'll come up and they'll give me a kiss and they'll go, "Oh, you're the best daddy in the whole world." It's like they set me up for the next time.
Oh my gosh, my son knows how to bring me to my knees with that one.
Yeah,
that's what my daughter's. In her teenage years, when she came to me and said, "Daddy," and like her sweet voice, I'm like, "Oh my, this is going to cost me money."
See?
Yeah. Oh man.
My son will be like, "Mom, do you know how valuable you are?" And I'll be like, "Oh gosh," and I'll be like, "So there's these shoes."
Yeah, they're Jordans.
I know. Don't look at the price right now, Mom. Just so you know. And then he'll hit me with the, "Yeah, by the way, I got straight A's." You know, so it's like,
yeah, that's a good. That's
okay,
a good hook.
you just put me in a sandwich. You just put me in a mom sandwich.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. You know, you don't want to discourage them from getting A's.
Right. I reward good grades. I'm all for the good grades, right? We need a scholarship.
Yeah, maybe tell them, look, you got straight A's this time. I'll give you one of the two shoes.
Hey.
You get the other next semester.
Let's work out a contract.
He's probably growing so fast that the shoes are going to be.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I try to get him to understand, like, you know, you're a premature baby, and sometimes, you know, you don't grow like normal people. You grow different. You like grow in spurts, and sometimes not at all, right?
Grew in spurts.
And like, okay, so for example, 1 month he's in a size 5.
Mm-hmm.
The next month he's in a 6. The next month he's in a 7.5. And the next month he's in a 9, and now he's a 10.5.
Yeah, so he's heading towards 13.
So it's like,
well, you're not short for a woman. You're above average height.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean 5'6", they say.
5'6", 5'7",
yeah. I mean, a little bit taller. Yeah. Was his father a tall man?
About 5'11".
All right, not super tall.
Not super tall.
Yeah.
My brother is 6'4".
Okay, so there's some genes in there that.
There's some height in there. Yeah, there's some height in there somewhere.
Well, it sounds like he's headed towards size 13 shoes.
Oh, I'm going to send him your way. I'm going to send him your way. He's got the look. He can work Peter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm in bad shape as it is.
Okay, we're going to talk more about your son and yours relationship and what you're teaching him, some specifics, when we come back after this break.
Doug, most of our viewers and followers know that our new episodes come out on YouTube on Thursday nights.
Right.
But we have a new announcement about the Third Chair.
Exciting announcement.
starting with the older episodes, they're now going to be on a TV channel.
Yes, very exciting.
So the TV channel is with the Pikes Peak Library District, Comcast Channel 17 here in Colorado Springs. And I believe the episodes are going to play at 7 o'clock at night, but they may cycle them, and who knows, maybe they'll be on at 2 or 3 in the morning. So if you're in Colorado Springs and you have Comcast and access to Channel 17, you're able to watch The Third Chair. The episodes are edited a little bit shorter. Some of the commercials are taken out on TV.
It should be exciting.
Yeah, I can finally tell my friends I'm really on TV.
We could tell them we're TV stars.
That's right.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Third Chair. We have Ari here. I'm saying that right,
Ari.
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 You're good with me, so we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
I don't want the fans to come up to you running and saying the wrong name after seeing this.
That's okay.
So what values have you taught your son?
So because he is big in basketball and it's something that he wants to pursue, in the future, I did find that a lot of times people would come to him and tell him, like, did you know that only 1% makes it to the league? And he'd be like, hell yeah, I know. My mom told me that. I'm a 1%er, right? Uh-huh. So I'm instilling that value and that belief and that confidence in him that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. Your mind is the most powerful thing that you possess. It's the one thing that you can control, and it's your own. So you need to instill in love yourself. People are going to have opinions regardless, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's a free country. It's a free world. But you have the ability to choose which of those opinions are going to matter in your life, right? So that you're not easily persuaded by these naysayers or the people who have so much fear that they didn't accomplish their own dreams or, what they wanted to do. So, the biggest thing that I'm instilling in my son is that confidence and that self-love, belief, and it's okay to be different and love more than the materials can buy, right? You don't have to accept a gift from somebody and then be their best friend. Accept it and be genuine about it. But if that's not something that you value as an individual, share your time. Share the things that matter the most.
1%, but people still use their basketball skills for other things. I mean, besides the NBA. I mean, there's Europe, and there's coaching, and
and it's a process too.
Oh yeah,
it's what you learn. Whether you make it or not, you always hope someone does. But it's the discipline and the practice and the study and all the habits that go with it.
Right. Think about I tell my son all the time. Think about all of the kids that you've influenced as a young buck. Right. He's been playing basketball since he's 3 years old. He's gone from I think I'm this and one superstar to just getting the basic fundamental skills and always being the younger one on the team. Because like I said, we started him out really young. So it was, think about all of the impact that you're making, because even when kids see Saran and they're like, oh my gosh, he's so good at basketball. He's such a humble kid. He's not one of those, back in the day, high school jocks that, high ego. It's like, okay, you might not be very good, but if you want to learn, I've got time. You've got time. Let's go shoot hoops. Let's go to the park. You know what I mean? So, it's helping him understand that even though people say only 1% make it to the league, you are creating a foundation for yourself. It's a brand. People look at Saran and it's like, goodness gracious, this kid came a long way.
So if you practice basketball with him, and he fouls you, does he get the look?
Oh, man. Oh, man. So we come from a very long competitive family, right? And I love my kid. I love that little guy. But I do not like to lose.
Oh, so you're a little competitive, too.
But he probably doesn't give you any.
And he doesn't like to lose either, right?
So it's competitive.
Oh, yeah, it's competitive. So
That's
National Sons Day, we had a little mishap. And yeah, he gave me a stitch or two in my bottom lip playing a little hoop. But it was all in good fun. Of course he felt devastated. I hurt mom. I got to drive her to the hospital type deal.
So he drove you?
Oh, he thought he was. He definitely thought he was that day.
Yeah, he's 13.
No, he definitely. Oh, he was 12 because he wasn't even 13 at the time. It happened National Sons Day. We're playing basketball and it's game point, right? And he's about to win, and so I'm like, I gotta use my height, right? So I was about to send him to the snack bar, and so he kind of head faked me a few times and got me one good one and laid it in there. Then he took a look back and he's like, "Oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "Oh, it's just a lip. I didn't realize." And my tooth had went through it. Right. And so he's like, we gotta go. And, he jumps in the driver's seat, like he's taking me. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta go. You gotta slide over.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going. It's okay. It's the adrenaline.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, you don't mean to touch anybody.
Yeah. And, he's like, well, I hurt Mom, so he's the end of the world.
Yeah, I was playing basketball with a guy as an adult. And he had the basketball, and I hit the basketball right when it hit his hand. And, and then he stopped because his finger was injured.
Uh-huh.
Then he went to the doctor afterward. He said, told me
Did you break it?
It broke his finger. It's like,
How did that make you feel?
I felt kind of bad, but also kind of proud because I was like,
I might be the only one up here that's not violent.
That means he's got an undercover side.
He came from Canada. They play hockey.
So that's ultimately violent.
I've had my own few encounters on the ice. I was playing in a men's league here. It was a no checking league, and one of the other players body checked our guy and sent him flying, and that wasn't allowed, and the referee didn't call a penalty. And so when he was coming down the ice, I went over and I creamed him with a body check. I actually knocked him over the boards into his own bench.
Oh, so it sounds like you beat us both with your violence.
Yeah, but everyone was wearing pads.
Because it was a teammate. It was a team body check, though.
Yeah.
So
I was protecting an innocent person.
Yeah.
In hockey, that makes him the goon.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. He's the goon.
The loony goonie. I'm from Canada. They have the loons or the $1 coins.
Oh, okay.
They have little loons on them. Loonies, they're just an FYI for the viewers at home.
I learn something new every day.
Yeah, there's 3 people who live in North Dakota that found that interesting.
Yes, and 2 of them are in the prison watching TV.
At least they were interested. And you taught somebody something new.
I'm feeling pretty proud of myself, actually.
Right?
So what's the hardest part of raising a son on your own?
I would say, being in this day and age, a lot of things have changed. We're in a very insecure world where everybody is negative. There's a lot of things that are different and changed. So I want to educate my son without putting fear in him. But I need him to understand that not everybody likes little black boys, and it's okay. So the biggest fear as a mommy is ultimately, I'm afraid that my little black boy is going to get mistaken for another little black boy, and he may not come home one day. But I don't want to instill that fear in him, so I want him to know that is a possibility. But as far as that is a hard part being a mom, because when you're living in fear, it has more lasting effects than when your foundation is love. But I want him to know that, okay, there are people out there that aren't going to have the same intentions that you have. They're not going to have the same heart that you have. They're not going to love the same way that you love, and that's okay. We can't judge them for that, but we have to be aware. We have to know that they're out there, right? So the hardest part is educating him without having him looking over his shoulder, constantly in fear, because if you're living in fear, you're not
That's
living.
a fine line. That's
Yeah.
hard to prepare.
You know?
Or even withdrawing and like not doing anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if? Oh my God, what if? You know, so that's the parenting doesn't come with a handbook. So it's like, okay, well, who's gonna put that in a book, and so that we can all read it and pass it along to the next generation after generation? Because, like you said, it's a fine line.
Yeah.
And I don't want to limit my son's life because it's consumed in fear.
Right.
Wow.
But you want them to know what's out there.
Hey, what's out there? Yeah.
But you don't want them to fear everything, because you want them to live and see stuff and
Yeah.
and
Preparation
experience
over
life.
everything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Be okay with the experience. Be okay with, going through different trials and tribulations, because you understand that it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. But it's teaching you something. But ultimately knowing everybody's not going to have the same intentions that I have. Everybody's not going to do the same things or want the same things that I want.
Well, and I think the other side of that coin too is that you can be pleasantly surprised that there are good people out there, and you just hope that your son runs into those people.
Yes.
Because there are good people out.
Yes, but you give him enough so that if he runs into the not so good ones, then he knows how to handle himself too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Right.
That's good.
And that's where the line comes.
Yeah, see?
Well, we have to draw another line and end this segment. We'll be right back. We sure hope you're enjoying this episode of The Third Chair.
Would you like to be a sponsor for the Third Chair?
We would love to have you join us to keep the show going and also help your business. Send us an email about your product or company and let's talk.
And follow us on social media.
Now back to The Third Chair.
Yes.
Welcome back to The Third Chair. I'm Peter, that's Doug, and we're here with Ari. Ari, you have been telling some great stories tonight, and in pre-production you told me that one of your goals in life is that you would like to interact with 1 million people and do what to them?
So before I die, we all have our goals of what our dash is gonna leave, right? Before I die, I realized, I have value too, and I'm going to impact 1 million people's lives before I die. I mean, what I mean by that is 1 million people will wake up and say, my life is different because I had an interaction with Ari. I talked to Ari. I met her at the grocery store. We had a conversation, right? I heard her speak at a speaking engagement. At least 1 million people will wake up and say, you know what? If I wouldn't have heard from her, things would have been different.
She got 3 last night.
She got 3
So I'm
last
on a
night.
roll.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
on a roll.
Yeah.
That's
right.
You're on a roll. Yeah. Although some people might say that I would count as 2. So is that in the context of any particular part of life? Like I want to interact with 1 million people positively in terms of encouraging them to set goals or to lead as fulfilling a life as possible. Is there something that you kind of have a framework with that?
So it's a little bit broader than that, because I do utilize the Primerica umbrella, for my side hustle. But it's more of understanding what people want, what it is that people are needing, what it is that people desire. Everybody wants to be somebody. Everybody wants to be cared about, thought of, appreciated, right? And when you have that understanding and that passion to be able to give that to somebody, why not carry that into your everyday life? Why not allow your energy to touch each and every person that comes into you, so that they can understand and feel, okay, I may not want to join Primerica or do anything else, but I have goals and dreams too. Before I got watered down by the Debbie Downers and life itself, right? I had things that I wanted to accomplish. I had goals and targets and things that I actually wanted to do. But then here comes life.
Yeah.
But then there's nobody who cares enough about what it is that I wanted to accomplish to help me remember what that was.
Do you count, like, I know you mentioned the other night that sending a card, writing a personal card is important to you.
Absolutely.
Do you count that as like a positive interaction?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you think about it, most people don't have time to even pick up the phone to tell their family members that they love them or to tell somebody that they're thinking about them. Mm-hmm. It's usually just an intention. It's like, okay, well, dang, I'm thinking about that person, but whatever. Right? So when you take the time out to pick out a card, and now you've got this card and you've read it, you picked out the right one, and the person's face then popped up in your head, right? And you're like, oh my God, I can see the look on their face when they open up this card, right? But imagine when you take out that ink from your pen, because nobody writes anything nowadays. Everybody wants to text it on a phone or type it on a computer. So you're taking your energy and you're putting it into that pen. And with each stroke, you're putting love in a special note, and you're signing your name and you lick that letter and you put the stamp and you put the person's address on it and you walk it to the mailbox. We're going all the way Rolodex old school. It takes a lot of love and caring and energy to take the time out of our busy schedules, our busy lives. We all are of high demand nowadays, especially with all the extra time we have. But when you take out that extra time, when that person opens that envelope, it's more than just a piece of paper. You've taken that 50-cent card and you've turned it into something that's going to change somebody. You don't know what that person's going through. Right, yeah. You don't know. And we all like getting mail other than bills, right? I mean,
so you like getting
as grown-ups, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know how you feel when you get a card in the mail, but it's like, oh my God, this person.
Depends whether they put enough postage on the front. Whether I get a little note that says pay the postman 10 cents or not.
My wife will be happy just that you know what a Rolodex is.
See?
Yeah, man. See? And you're young. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. She's met a lot of people your age that doesn't, and she's like, nobody knows, and I'm still using mine, and they laugh
I've got
at
an
me.
old soul. I've got an old
Old soul.
But people just want to be thought of.
Sure.
Right? Sure. We've had moments like that. So why not pay it forward?
Well, I had one thought about that, and that is you should be having your son carry the letter to the mailbox.
Hey, that's a great idea. I'd like to talk to the mailmen, though. I'd like to see how the mailman's day is going. So I like to hand deliver those letters.
So on a less exciting but equally as important note, we're going to talk about next week your job at Preeclampsia, and so this week we're going to give you some contact information and put it on the screen. So if people want to contact you, what type of info do you want out there?
So I do have Facebook, Ari Spearman. Instagram, also Ari Spearman. I can be emailed at peaceofmindari@gmail.com. And I can be reached by phone. I love talking to people on the phone, like actual phone conversations. 719-210-8921.
Hey, that's the same one I've been sending you texts on.
Hey.
What a coincidence.
I like to hear your voice too, Peter.
That's it. You're going to get a call on your and I know you'll appreciate it. With that, thank you for being here with us this week. You're coming back next week. We're so excited. So until then, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification icon. And from 2 Men and a Duck and the Third Chair, good night, and we'll see you next time.
This has been the Third Chair. Want to be a guest? Want to sponsor our show? Send us an email. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media.